Hello and welcome to the Falcon Athletics Network and another edition of Falcon Fever. I'm Jonathan Weed. We've got a great show ahead for you as Montevallo alum and former Falcon Fever host Seth Hagan stops in to talk with Athletic Director Mark Richard. But first, we're going to talk to some of Volleyball players and some members of the squad with us on the show. Evelina, you're up first. Welcome to Falcon Fever.
Thank you so much for having me.
Evelina, how difficult was it to have your fall season canceled? And how excited are you to potentially have a spring season?
I remember when we got sent home back in March, it was very disappointing, and I was under the impression that we were going to come back for the fall season and compete. And I remember getting the call during the summer after working really hard for a few months to train and get ready. And they said that we weren't going to be competing, and that was very demoralizing. I kind of cried a little bit in the car because as a senior, this is the big year. You want to go out with a bang, and so not having that and kind of not being sure if the season in the spring is even guaranteed. Like you said, it's potential, and as excited as I am for that potential, I'm speaking into existence right now. We're going to be competing in the spring. We're going to go at it, and we're going to have a great season.
Well, I hope you have a great season as well. And so what did you do while you were at home to stay in shape physically and mentally to keep yourself prepared for when you return to the court?
Well, obviously the first few months during lockdown, it was really hard to get out and be active. So what I kind of did during those months was go running at my local park, things like that. And then once stuff started opening up again, I live 1.5 miles from the beach, and there wasn't a ton of indoor volleyball in my area. So I did what I had to do, and I went out and I said, you know what, I'm going to play in the sand. So I spent a few months out there training with some friends and really getting a feel for that side to volleyball, because it's really a different kind of sport, but it really helped me prepare for this, for indoor again, coming into semester. And I honestly I'm really excited to get back to it. I already have a training session set up for Tuesday and getting ready for January.
Well, Evelina, thanks for being here, and good luck in the spring.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Evelina. And now, junior Savannah Royce joins us. Savannah, thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Savannah, what were the emotions like for you individually and the team that when you received the news that the season was in jeopardy due to the evolving pandemic?
We were all obviously a little bit discouraged, but we really wanted to make sure that we were there for each other and encourage each other to work hard through the quarantine, even when we were in lockdown, and make sure that we could come back stronger than ever and really appreciate the time that we have together on and off the court, because you never know when it's going to be your last time to play.
Now, Savannah, I know you are ready to get this season underway, but just tell me, how excited are you to potentially get back on the court for a spring 2021 season?
I'm so excited. We're all so excited. We've been working really hard this fall, especially the incoming freshmen and the incoming transfers that we've had. We've all been really working on team chemistry and work ethic, and I think we're really going to crush it this spring season.
And we are quickly approaching finals. How have the seniors been coping with the season being canceled in the fall?
They've been doing really well. I'm really proud of them. We all have their backs, and we're all doing really well. They're really important to us, and we really want to make sure that they feel appreciated and that we have their backs at all times, and we're just going to make the best of what we have together.
Well, thank you so much, Savannah, and good luck. I hope we get to see you on the volleyball court this spring.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Joining me now is Volleyball's head coach, Katie O'Brien. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
2020 has certainly been an unprecedented year for everyone. What has your journey been like thus far, and what challenges have you faced keeping the players focused during this pandemic?
We have really reminded them to pay attention to academics and athletics, socially distance, be safe off the court, but on the court we're also wearing masks. So just reminding them again and again what we're trying to do so we can get through the semester.
And your team has achieved new heights off the court and in the classroom this past season, with the highest team GPA in the program's history being in the top 36 in the nation's D2 sports. With this honor, how proud are you of this team and their commitment to academics?
Exceptionally proud. They did an amazing job, especially when we sent them home in March and they finished online. A lot of that is just them taking responsibility and being committed to academics.
Coach, how excited are you at the prospect of having a spring 2021 season?
We can't wait. We want to compete. We got shut down the day we were supposed to play our spring tournament, and so we really have not competed since November, and we're ready to compete in January, February, March, whatever format that is, and we'll do anything we can to compete.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you and your players back on the court.
Thank you.
Here's some highlights from the volleyball team heading into the spring. During the 2019-2020 school year, the women of the program achieved new heights academically. The team's GPA, which is the highest mark in the program's history and top 36 in the country for D2. They continued their 12-year streak of the American Volleyball Coach Association Team Academic Award. They also gave back to their community by volunteering over 195 plus hours. This year, they combined with Montevallo's women's basketball to host a pink event in support of breast cancer research and education. In 2019, Montevallo, just shy of 20-win plateau. In addition to being successful as a team, they had several individuals recognized for their athletic and academic achievements. For the first time since returning to the Gulf South Conference, the 2018 team was regionally ranked in the South region. They played even 7 opponents who were ranked regionally in either the Southeast region or South region in 2019. 5 former players graduated this past May, and one made a career milestone. Michaela Henderson had over 1,000 career digs. Juniors Liz Tech made it into the College of Dentistry. The team participated in the South Region crossover in Birmingham, Alabama, where senior Brianni Dixon was named to the regional tournament team. Sophomore setter Savannah Royce was selected second team and Dixon to first team All-Gulf South Conference 2019. We also had 4 GSC Player of the Week honors. The team added 6 new student athletes, 5 freshmen, 3 from Georgia, and 2 from Texas. Now to all things sports, as Athletic Director Mark Richards stopped by to talk with our Falcon Fever alum and guest host, Seth Hagan. AD Richard updated us on UM athletics heading into the spring.
Welcome in, Falcon fans. My name's Seth Hagan, and welcome to a special segment. We've got an interview with our athletic director, Mark Richard, here at the University of Montevallo. We're going to find out a little bit about him, the challenges of dealing with COVID-19 this fall, and what exactly is going to happen going forward with all of our athletic programs getting back started, and how we're trying to get fans back to Gulf South Conference competition. And so we'll bring in our athletic director, Mark Richard. Mark, we really appreciate the time today, and hope all is well with you.
Yeah, Seth, thank you for having me on the show. It's great to be here, and it's been a trying fall, and I'm anxious to talk about it today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to start, we want to get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, and maybe, how did you come to be here with us in Montevallo?
You know, I'm a small-town Pennsylvania guy, and grew up loving athletics. Graduated from a small Division II school, very much like Montevallo up in Pennsylvania. And I loved athletics. I played college football. I wanted to get into athletics, and I got my break. I went to the University of Florida for graduate school, and then got my first job and kind of worked around. And in 2014, I interviewed for the job here at Montevallo, and lucky enough, I got the job, and here I am in my 7th year.
Yeah, and I mean, 7 years in, done a great job, but I would imagine this year has been unlike any other that you've experienced. Just kind of go a little bit into that, because as an athletic director, there are a lot of challenges that this year has brought us.
Yeah, you know, I think you look back, it all started last March when everybody started canceling all these competitions. Yeah. And it kind of put us into a whole new era where we had to look at everything as far as COVID-19 and how we're going to work with it. And at first, I think we all backed away and said we can't work with it. And as the summer went along and working with the Gulf South Conference, we had to figure out a way of how could we have competitions. And so we've been working with the Gulf South weekly. We've been getting guidelines from the NCAA. And slowly we started working this fall. And luckily enough, we were able to have a cross-country season. We were able to have a golf season, a fall golf season. And recently, the swim program had a swim meet this past weekend. And now our biggest focus right now is getting prepared for the basketball season, which is going to start on December 9th.
Sure. And so you mentioned some programs that were able to go on with their fall season, but we kind of had to ease in more socially distant sports, of course. So with golf and cross country and with you mentioned swimming starting up, how do you feel everybody has done this fall in terms of compliance and how we've been able to work things around the pandemic? You
know, I give a lot of credit to our coaches and our student athletes. It's been extremely tough as they fight through this, and you know, all the rules are taking place, being masked up and all these things, but they have done extremely well. And especially cross country, as they work their way through, they practice. We had to test them weekly as they went into competition, and they came out at the Gulf South Championships, and the men finished third, the women finished third, with Joe Leventree finishing second in the GSC, and Justine Glass finishing second on the women's side. So, you know, just learning to deal with it and being mentally tough. And you have to be mentally tough with everything you're facing, because we're all doing new things. And so, you know, give credit to our student athletes and coaches. I'm very, very proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely, because, I mean, massive challenges, and we're so happy to hear that they're doing so well in the midst of all this. But as we know, some sports did not get to play their fall season, so I have to ask you, what are the plans for the Gulf South Conference in terms of the sports that had to postpone their season?
Yeah, you take a look at the sports that were canceled this fall, and you're talking about men's and women's soccer and volleyball, and right now they're on pause. So we're looking to try and to have some type of meaningful competition for them this spring. So it'd kind of almost be like a World Cup such situation where they may play 3 or 4 games in their pod and then advance to bracket play. So hopefully we can continue to do that. And the biggest thing for us, Seth, is getting through the fall, having some type of competition, because therefore it gives the rest of these sports some hope. And hope being that we'll be able to play, you know, basketball season, be able to play a modified soccer season and a modified volleyball season.
Yeah, and speaking of the sports coming up, we're very excited for basketball season, of course, here at Montevallo coming up next month in December. So what does that look like? What are the challenges that will be involved in, you know, bringing fans back to Trustmark Arena and the Student Activity Center at large?
You know, it's going to be a lot of new rules, and that's what we're fighting through right now, is trying to see what basketball will look like. And the schedule will be 20 games for each team, but there'll be no doubleheaders like we've always had at the GSC. So the women will have 10 home games, the men will have 10 home games, and they'll be on the road for their other games. So our arena will be shut down except for maybe about 280 fans can come into the game. We've got to look at everything, such as simple as a basketball that goes out of play, and if it's touched by a fan or something, we have to clean that basketball and have another one ready to go. So, you know, sanitizing the place, the way people come in the arena, leave the arena, we're looking at every little thing we do, Seth, to make sure we're prepared for this season on December 9th.
For sure. And you said about 280-something fans at the game. Is there a percentage that was handed out by the Gulf South Conference in terms of our capacity?
Yes, we're looking at about 25% of each of our sections, But if you take a look at the seats behind the benches, we're going to have those pushed in because we have to make the team benches larger. We have to make the scores table larger. So it's wiping out that complete section. And then the sections underneath the baskets, we'll push those back so we can have our cheer team there and have our dance team and make sure they're far enough from the court.
Right.
And then the other stands on the other sideline, the first 12 feet, we cannot have anybody sitting there. So it's going to be 25% of the rest of that section. So it's cutting way back on our numbers in the arena. So if you want to come to a game, I would make sure you're checking the time and getting there early.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I want to make sure that everybody knows that the basketball season will start next month. We're very excited about it, but of course, everybody, we just need to make sure that we mask up, follow regulations so that we can all stay safe and keep the coaches and the student athletes safe as well. When is that first game, Mark, here at Trustmark Arena?
You know, the first game is going to be a women's game on Wednesday, December 9th, and I think it's West Georgia coming in. So our women's basketball team is coming off 18 victories last year, Seth, and it was our 4th winning season in the last 24 years. And Coach Van Atta has a lot of our kids back this year. So they're looking to have another great season. They were so close to making the NCAA championship. And on the men's side, Coach Young is in his, I think, his 18th year here and has been very, very successful. He's got a great group of kids out there working hard and just, they've got to get rolling and we're looking forward.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, we appreciate your time once again, Mark. We're very excited for the new season. And just before we let you go, we do know that the spring teams should be full go. Everything is good in that regard?
Yes, right now it is. We're hoping and praying that this works out for us, that we can go full speed ahead in the spring.
Absolutely. All right, well, once again, thanks for the time. And once again, just coming here and giving us the full layout. Once again, really looking forward to basketball season and beyond.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
You got it.
Thanks, Seth. That's all the time we have for today's show. Remember, you can get all the latest news, athletic news, 24/7 at theMontevallefalcon.com and the Falcon Athletics Network on YouTube.